everybody. Welcome back to episode 14 of TeaLimePie. This is the podcast where we read your Reddit stories about ghosts and the paranormal. I myself am not a believer, but my very good friend Coffee Ghostea is a believer and our resident paranormal expert. We have a fairly long story for you today, so we're only going to do 2. We normally do 3, but we're only going to do 2 today.
Yeah.
Because we found some long ones.
We
Spooky
did.
stories.
It's the comments on the one I picked seem like people really liked it, so hopefully it's a good one. It's called My Trip to the Slaughter Yard, a story my mom wouldn't tell me until my 30s.
Okay, even just like the title there.
Yeah.
Why are you taking a trip? Just like, let's go to the slaughterhouse.
Yeah. I guess we're about to find out.
I already have questions.
Okay, well, let's see if there's answers. So let me start out by saying I enjoyed writing this, so this will be long. It's nonfiction, though, but hopefully it will be an interesting read. I also admit that I have absolutely no memory of this experience. I was a little over 2 years old and just starting to walk on my own when this event took place. My mom only told me this story around 3 years ago when I was 32 and about to get married. My mother was raised in a very tiny, fundamentalist Christian community and had no belief in the paranormal. She believed that our souls sleep until Judgment Day or something like that. Ergo, there are no ghosts or spirits or haunted houses. Even over 30 years later, she still sounded terrified as she told me this. This woman, who always talked way too loud, was literally whispering by the end of it, and she was white as a sheet. I believed her completely and still do. My mom never talks about stuff like this. I'm just glad I can't remember it.
Yeah, who takes their 2-year-old? Never. Just keep reading.
Okay.
So many questions.
In 1988, my parents had their second child. This was my brother, Victor, alias. We were very crowded in our rented flat with 2 babies. My parents decided to move into a rambling, old 2-story farmhouse on a 7-acre plot in southern Ohio for more room for the family. This was way out in the sticks and took almost an hour to get to town from there. My mom said the first time I saw the house, I freaked out. I was crying and saying things like, don't like mean house, ugly house, don't like scary house, mama, don't like, oh. My mom says this behavior was very out of character for me, but I stopped complaining about the house after a few weeks, so she chalked it up to the stress of the move. I don't think I would move into a place if my 2-year-old was saying stuff like that.
I would. Selling feature.
Selling feature, yeah. Now this house was ramshackle as fuck and in the middle of nowhere. The kitchen was to the far rear of the house, and until recently, before we moved in, still had a working, ancient wood-burning cooking stove against the back wall. That's kind of cool. This had caught the back wall on fire a couple of months before we moved in and caused a lot of damage. Less cool. A lot of this damage wasn't fixed, so my young, but broke parents got a very cheap rent agreement. Gotta love the 80s. On the second floor, directly above the kitchen, was a locked room. The landlord claimed it had heavy fire damage, but her son, who had done the repairs, claimed the only fire damage left was in the kitchen since it had been the worst and was beyond his skill level to fix. Either way, the landlord was adamant that the room was off limits, and my parents always respected that. Interesting. If it doesn't have damage, why can't they use it? I would have looked 100%. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah, same.
I know all this because I heard stories about the crappy farmhouse with the creepy door my whole life, and there were pictures of us in and around the farmhouse. The locked door was right next to the upstairs landing, so there was no avoiding it, and both my parents have told me it gave them the creeps.
What if there
After
was like camera equipment in there? Like, what if your landlord was taping you and your family or something?
yeah, creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd look or like
Mm-hmm.
dead bodies. Like,
Yeah.
what are you hiding in there?
Yeesh.
No, thank you. What if it started being stingy? After a few months after we moved in, my mother and I were in the yard with our pit bull Doberman mix, Boss. Oh, cute. She was hanging laundry and I was rolling around with the dog. She said that just as she noticed that everything was way too silent, Boss started going apeshit from surprisingly far away, about 50 yards from the house on the left. There was a small duck pond. Boss was in between the two, running towards my mom, then turning and running back towards the pond, barking frantically the whole time. My mom saw something thrashing around in the middle of the pond. She took off towards the water at full speed. Boss beat her there and dragged me out of the water himself. Oh, thank you, pupper. Oh. Although my mom was confused how I got so far so fast and how I got to the center of the pond since it was over my head and I couldn't swim. She figured she underestimated me and brought in the baby gates and playpens. I was to be contained from now on, yeah. Totally fair.
Contained.
Contained, yeah. A few weeks later, she was cooking downstairs. Boss was outside, Victor asleep in his crib, and I was in my playpen in my room upstairs. I also had a gate on my door and one at the top of the stairs. The stairs ran up from the side of the kitchen, so my mom said she could listen for us crying or fussing while cooking. My mom said no longer than 15 minutes after the last time she looked in on us, Boss starts going crazy again in the yard. She runs up to check on us. Victor's still sleeping. Every baby gate is still shut and locked, but I am not in my room. Ugh. A frenzied surge reveals I am not in the house at all. A sudden image of Boss saving me from the drowning causes my mom to rush outside to see what he's trying to tell her this time. She said he was running circles in the yard, barking uncontrollably. When she got outside, he took off towards the right, away from the pond. He would run ahead, turn around, and bark at my mother, wait for her to catch up a little before racing off again. What a good dog!
Yeah, what the hell?
He ended
Got nothing on Lassie.
Yeah, right? Fuck Lassie.
I really want him to be at the bottom of a well.
He ended up leading her almost a mile and a half out onto the dirt road that separated our property from our neighbors. He led her to a thick stand of trees on our neighbor's side of the rocky drive. She said what hit her first was the foul stench of advanced decay. She plowed into the trees with her heart in her throat and her stomach full of ice. She said she noticed many piles of corrugated tin, tarps, tires, and other debris. The miasma was emanating most strongly from these junkyard cairns. Peeking under a sheet of tin, she discovered the extremely decomposed corpse of a butchered cow.
Aww.
Oh. As she headed deeper into the thicket, there where the tree cover was denser, she said less care was taken to cover the remains. Grisly pieces of bones and rotted chunks of bovine littered the area. Apparently our neighbor, in an effort to cheat his taxes, had been illegally slaughtering cattle and hiding the remains in at least one of the few thick stands of trees around.
Why would you not bury them?
Right? Oh, that's so sad. She found me in the dead center of this thicket, just standing there looking around like I was confused, surrounded by carnage. She said I didn't seem scared or anything, just standing. She rushed over to me, and after ascertaining that I wasn't injured, began questioning me on why I was here, how I got here, etc. Keep in mind that although my mother said I started speaking very young, I still didn't have much of a vocabulary, yeah. She said I told her with that serious look only small children can give that the children brought me here. Shatting her pants at the thought that anyone, even children, could walk right past her through the kitchen, get me from upstairs, and walk right back past her on the way down the stairs and out with me. She demanded to know what children and where the hell they are now. I looked at her dead serious and told her the ones that live with us in the room at the top of the stairs. And then I didn't see them anymore. After a moment of stunned silence, she started asking all kinds of questions about these children. However, she told me that I refused to say anything else. She said as long as she questioned me about what happened, I would just stand there staring at her with a serious expression and my mouth closed. She said the same pattern held true every other time she brought it up to me, so she was always left wondering and immediately began hounding my dad about moving closer to town. While the incident with me getting to the pond was highly unlikely, it was at least remotely possible. My mother is adamant that me being in the hidden slaughter yard that day was flat impossible. She said there's no way I could have never known it was out there, much less have the ability to open and relock the baby gates, get downstairs past her, and end up almost 2 miles down the road and in this place in under 15 minutes. I was only 2 and as slow and clumsy as most toddlers. As I said, she's still shaken by it after 30 years. Personally, I have no idea what happened that day. I've thought about hypnosis, but haven't decided I really want to remember. Maybe it's better to let it be a mystery because whatever the fuck those things were, I really don't think they were children.
Oh my god. They really need to go see, like I need to know.
Yeah.
Also, I think it was the dog. If this is true, if this is indeed true, and not just a ghost story, I think it was, like, the dog. Like, it was throwing it in the pond and being like, oh no.
The dog opened the baby gates?
He can jump over it. It's a dog.
With a kid?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
I don't think so. I don't think so.
Just because your dogs are little and have stubby legs doesn't mean all dogs are little with stubby legs.
Yeah, but I still can't imagine even a bigger dog, like, carrying, like, without making any noise.
True.
No noise. You're gonna hear a big-ass dog carrying a 2-year-old out of, like... You're not gonna miss that. And I'd be really impressed.
Just wanted his day.
Yeah, and then I'd be so impressed if a dog could open a fucking door. Like a front door.
That's valid.
I don't think so.
My cat can open the front door.
Okay, but I think you'd hear
Just
it though.
saying.
I don't think a dog's gonna be like stealthily like, shh, we gotta be quiet. Open the door. Big dogs are clumsy and loud. There's no way.
Yeah, they are not stealth.
No, they are not. I'm trying to read. OP like commented a lot, so I'm trying to see if there's any more fun information, but that's fucking crazy. I bet the landlords were murdering children and their spirits were in the room.
That escalated so fucking quickly.
That's all I could think of. The kids that live in the room in the... Are you kidding me? They're murdering children.
They said there was a fire in the 80s, right?
Like, before they moved in.
It could have been, like, children that died in the fire.
Or they burned their corpses upstairs. I think...
They should make a movie about this.
Dude, yeah, they should.
I'm gonna send it to Universal.
Not tell OP, and they go to see the movie, and they're like, wait a second. This is
I know this story.
Really familiar. I feel like I should get royalties. Ooh, OP says my mom admitted she tried getting into the room but wasn't able to, so they must have locked it. They still don't know what was in there.
I need to know.
I know. Yeah, people are wondering if somebody died in a fire. Dang, I want to know what was in there.
Oh, look. Okay, so someone else clearly read this for their YouTube podcast
Yeah.
and asked if and asked if they could have it in their video. And he's like, "That's fine. Send me the link." Blah blah blah. And then he gives the location of.
Oh.
I kind of want to look it up.
Yeah.
It was in Lawrence County, Ohio, near Kitts Hill and Joshua Hole Creek. They're terrible names.
Yeah. It was once a dairy
Chagoo-goo.
farm. Chagoo-goo. Talked to my mom about the house this morning. She said it was well over 100 years old.
Your dog was the best boy ever.
Yeah,
He got
dog
VIP for
is-
sure.
Yeah, doggo for the win.
Crazy.
That's so crazy. That's so scary. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I just can't help but think that the landlords are super suspicious.
Yeah.
I've rented a lot of places, like duplexes and stuff, and I've never been told, don't go in this room. Like, I feel like people only say, like, why would you rent out a house and not have everything cleaned out for them to fully use the place? Like, what do you have to do with the property that you can't?
They're murderers, remember?
Yeah, that's all I can think of. Like, that's the only
That's the
thing I
only
can. Yeah, I can't. Yeah.
Yelp.
Suspicious.
Very good story, though.
Yeah,
I want more.
honestly. Oh, that poor mom. Like,
Yeah.
within a couple days, like, finding this kid in really terrible situations. But how fucking gross, though, that neighbor with all these cows. That's so gross. Ugh. Ew. I can't imagine how bad that smelled.
Oh, yeah. Why would you not bury it? Like, you would, all I can think of is, like, you would get animals.
Yeah. Like a lot of critters.
Yeah.
Ew.
And if you live in the sticks, like, dangerous ones. In
Yeah.
Ohio? Isn't there bears?
Yeah, probably bears, coyote, a lot of stuff for sure. Wolves, I'm sure. Ugh, yeah, that'd be
Crazy.
bad.
All right.
Yeah.
That was a good story.
Yeah, I'm gonna be thinking about that one for a while.
How did it not die in the pond?
I don't know. I guess quick enough, just
I guess.
thankfully for that dog. I don't know. Oof.
All right.
All right, let's cap it off with another mama story.
Little house story.
Yeah.
Yay! Okay. We're now going to read a little house story. These are stories sent in by my mom.
Meow.
These are all centered around a small house that we used to live in when I was around the ages of like between 6 and 10, maybe a little older. I don't really remember. In the first story, we found out that this house, the previous owners had died a month before we moved in. They were an elderly couple. They died of old age, but they were found together. So apparently, no. So apparently creepy things happened in this house. I don't recall anything, but my mom does. So she has shared them with us, and it's going to be a series of 5 stories that we read, one an episode.
Yeah.
So, little house number 2. In this house, there were so many things that used to happen there. There would be no way I could remember everything. Every day, there would be shadows, noises, things gone missing, people talking that were not there. Multiple times, I would sit alone late at night after the girls had gone to bed and hear people talking, but it was never anything I could understand. It was like when you were listening to a conversation or trying and you were just out of earshot. You could hear the tone of it, like you knew if it was a man talking or a woman, but it didn't matter how much you strained to hear, it was never gonna happen. It was so quiet in that neighborhood, I could tell the voices were not coming from outside. Even if they were, we would have never heard them, heard people talking outside. The houses were too far apart. The shadows were an everyday occurrence. It would be only in one area most of the time. We had a small hall. It connected both bedrooms with a bathroom in between. It was in that hallway where the shadows always showed up. I'm talking every night. This got to the point where I was, and I couldn't speak for the girls, but it made me but to me, it was really no big deal. You just shrugged your shoulders and either tried to listen or look. I was never at one point scared. I would say good morning and good night every day. The shadows were always dark and really quick. If you turned your head to look, poof, gone. They were also really big. Now, I do know for a fact that the previous owners that passed away there was a really big man. So it could have been him, who knows? The house was only about 50 years old. So it didn't go back centuries, but the land itself was a different story. Sorry, that
other
reminds
story.
Me of, yeah, that's exactly what I thought of.
The land had always been. Yeah, the land
Almost
just doesn't
like it's been there
up.
since the dawn of time.
I was thinking about that one the other day too. Somebody had said something like that. I'm like, oh my god.
In that area, many decades ago, it was a Huron natives made this area their home. You could dig in random places and find arrowheads, particularly different looking rocks that were obviously created for tools. So the haunting may have come from them, but it was not malicious. And if I'm being honest, I miss it.
Aww.
Yeah, okay, so I do remember my mom and my sister going on about the shadows in the hallway.
Okay.
Yeah, like, it's hard to describe this hallway. But yeah, on either end, it was this tiny little hallway. It was on either end was a bedroom. In the middle was the bathroom. And then, like, it looked, if you're looking at it straight on, it looked like the shadows would, like, cross between the bedrooms.
Oh, okay.
Is what I'm told.
Did they, like, look like person-shaped or just kind of like blobs?
Yeah,
Okay.
my mom says in here that it's like a really big man.
Okay. Interesting.
Yeah. Yeah, so we had shadows. Shadow people.
Shadow people going on a picnic.
Yay! Going on a picnic on some really old land.
Yeah. Did you ever dig up any of these
I did, actually.
things? That's cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like, the property itself was massive.
Mm-hmm.
So like there was this winding garden off to the side, and it took up like the entire length of the lawn.
Okay.
It was really cool. It was like its own little tiny forest.
Oh,
And
cool.
like in there, when we were like weeding or like planting things, yeah, we would find like pieces of pottery or like arrowheads, things like that.
That's so cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
I wonder
It
if...
was a nice little house.
Yeah, that's so cool. I wonder if the old people were the only people that lived in this house then? If the house was only about 50 years old and they died of just old age, was it just their house?
I believe my mom says in another story that she thinks they built the house.
Okay.
So,
Interesting.
and like raised their kids there.
Yeah. So they've just been there a long time and they're just still going about their...
Yeah. I mean, if I built myself a house, I'd live there in the afterlife too. Yeah. Like, bitch, I built this.
Yeah, why not? I'm gonna walk from room to room. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
That's so
All right. Well, that's our little story, or little house story number 2. Thank you so much for sending that in. These have been interesting to walk down old Mama Lime Road.
Yeah, that's so cool.
And, yeah. Good times.
Yeah.
If anybody else would like to send in a story, you can do so by emailing us at tealimepiepodcast@gmail.com, or you can find the link in the description on our channel page. Yeah. Thank you, everybody, for listening. We really, really appreciate it. This wraps up episode number 14 of TeaLimePie.
Yeah, I think
13.
that's right. 14?
No, it's 13. 13, I think.
No,
Maybe?
14.
This wraps up another episode of TeaLimePie.
One of them.
Thank you so much for listening, and have a good night.
Sleep tight.